Hey Reggie, so this is going to be super quick. Your problem, the first one looked like this, okay? And I'm rewriting it like this. So I highlighted the top part, that's what you call the dividend, and I'm going to highlight several things during this example so you can kind of see what I'm dividing into what, okay? So the way this works is it follows the same rules as long division for regular, numbers. We're going to take, by the way, this is called the divisor, okay? We're going to take the first term of the divisor and see how many times it goes into the first term of the dividend. So in other words, you're thinking 2x cubed divided by x. Now, if you're not really good with your rules, you can kind of do some side work. So I'm going to jump over here to the side and show you that. 2x cubed divided by x. Okay, so this is just rules of exponents. Remember that there's a little 1 here. By the way, sorry if this is not a great video. It's completely unedited, okay? So 2 over, remember there's a 1 here also. 2 over 1 is just 2. X cubed divided by x to the first power. You're just going to subtract the powers. So this is going to be x squared. So your answer is 2x squared, okay? So this divided by this is going to give us 2x squared. Okay, so that's the first part. Divide the first term into the first term. Then we take this term and we multiply it times everything that's in the divisor spot. So 2x squared times x is going to be 2x cubed, okay? And then 2x squared times negative 2 is negative 4x squared. Okay, so we're just multiplying this times everything that's here. That's all, distributive property. Then we put our line, and we're going to put this in parentheses because now we're going to subtract these terms. Now, if you did this correctly, the powers should line up. So you can see that we have 2x cubed, 2x cubed, the powers are the same. Same thing with this one, the squares are the same. One of the tricky parts in this step right here is that since we're subtracting, you have to change all the signs. So this, instead of it being positive 2x cubed, it becomes negative 2x cubed. And this one also becomes the opposite, so it's positive 4x squared. I used color just to kind of remind myself that, this is the sign I'm going to be using, okay? Again, if you do this correctly, the first terms will usually cancel out. So we can just kind of cross them out. And we're going to be looking at this second term right here. So we have negative 8x squared plus 4x squared. And in this step, a lot of my students, they tend to want to cross out the x squares, but don't do that because we're just combining. So all you're looking at really is the negative 8 and the 4. So what's negative 8 plus 4? Well, it's just negative 4. So this is negative 4, and then you just bring down the x squared with it. So again, this part is just combining like terms, okay? That's all you're doing. Look at the coefficients in the front, so the big numbers, and work them out, and then just bring down the letter that goes with it, okay? After that, we're going to bring down the next term, so plus 9x. And I noticed that in your notes, you brought everything down. You can bring everything down. I don't do it that way because it feels a little cluttered for me, but it's up to you. So I'm going to do it just one term at a time. So I'm going to bring down the plus 9x. I'll worry about that too at the end, okay? So now this term right here becomes our new dividend. In other words, now I'm going to divide the x into this first term right here. Okay, so again, I'm going to do some side work for that just so you can kind of see. I'm saying negative 4x squared divided by x. So I'm going to do that over here. Negative 4x squared divided by x. Okay, and just like the problem before, oh, there's the bell. Just like the problem before, the number stays by itself because negative 4 over 1 is just, well, negative 4. Okay, remember there's a 1 here. There's also a little 1 right there. And x squared divided by x is just x. Okay, so the answer to this is just negative 4x. And that's going to go on top of the dividend up here. Okay, and we repeat the process. So we're going to multiply again. So now we're going to multiply this term again times everything. So negative 4x times x is going to give me 4x squared. Okay, and it goes right underneath this one. Negative 4x times negative 2 is positive 8x. Okay, and then we put our line just like before, put all this in parentheses, and we're going to subtract it. So everything should line up nicely, and it does. We have our squares, we have our x's, and we're going to change all the signs because of this minus. So I don't think I mentioned it, but the reason we're changing the signs is because of that minus. You're saying this term minus this term. So that's going to be negative 4x squared. And this is going to be negative 8x. Okay, and I missed a step here. I'm sorry. This was negative 4x squared. Hopefully it didn't throw you off there. So it was negative 4x squared because we had negative 4x times x. Okay, so it's actually going to be positive 4x squared. Okay, yeah, that looks better. And it should be because these, remember, these are going to cancel out. So that's gone. Okay. And then 9x minus 8x, we're just looking at the numbers. So 9 minus 8 is 1. Bring down the x with it. Okay. And then we bring down that last term, so minus 2. And now this again becomes our new dividend. Okay, so now we're going to divide into this term right here. So x into 1x. That one should be obvious, but if not, it's okay. So we're looking at 1x divided by x. So here on the side again, 1x divided by x. Well, the x's are gone, so it's just equal to 1. Okay, so up here, I'm going to go ahead and put plus 1 because it's positive 1. And just like what we did before, we're going to multiply that 1 times everything. The great thing about 1 is that 1 times anything is the same thing. So 1 times x is x. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Okay, we put our line, we put our subtract in parentheses. And just like before, this becomes negative x, and this becomes positive 2 because of this minus right here. And everything cancels out. So we're left with a remainder of 0. And that's great because that means that this is a nice problem where we don't have any weird remainders. Okay, so our answer is going to be everything up here. So 2x squared minus 4x plus 1. And if you wanted to check this because you have absolutely nothing else to do, you could multiply this term and this term. You could multiply them. And if you multiply them and get this answer, you are good to go. I'm not going to show you that though because it takes kind of a while. And yeah. So hopefully that helps. Let me know.